Hello, this is Mrs. Neubauer, and let's work on our penmanship. So, what is a pirate's favorite letter? You'd think it'd be an R, but his heart always belongs to the sea. Alright, so we're going to work on our lesson goal number 13 today. Learn how to write uppercase letters O through U. Okay, so a few challenging letters today, but I have a feeling you're working so hard you can get through them, and you've done a lot of challenging letters for lowercase. So way more challenging letters in lowercase than uppercase, in my opinion. Okay, so if you haven't already, you can work on your warm-up sheet, number 2 or number 3, basic letter stems, or you can just grab a piece of paper and start doing straight lines, diagonal lines, circles, and vertical straight lines, and then horizontal straight lines. Okay? Either way, good way to warm up. Make sure you're giving me L, your head's up straight, shoulders back, back's nice and straight, and your arms are resting on a nice flat surface. Alright, so our letters today, starting with our O. The O, we've already done a small O, lowercase o. Basically, we're just going to make a bigger one, top to bottom. P is, you already created P when you created a B, but this time you're not just going to do that lower one, so P you've already done. Q is just like the O, but you just have one of those diagonals like you did for your X with your lowercase. We have a vertical line, just like we did for P, but this time, just like the K, you're going to go from the middle and come down with your diagonal. Alright, a lowercase s and an uppercase S have that same shape. This time we're making it way, way, way bigger, double bigger. T is kind of like the I, but with the T you're going to have a longer horizontal at the top. And then U is going to come down, curve over to the center, and try to do the same thing coming up. Okay, so let's get started. Alright, so you have something to write with. I always like to write with a pen because it's permanent. That means I have to do a good job the first time. We have number 13, uppercase capitals, O through U. You're going to trace over the letters by staying in the lines, then try some on your own, just like we've been doing for our capitals. Alright, so your O is just a really big O instead of a small O. So you're going from the top, coming curving down to the bottom, and then straight back up that same curve. So one complete circle. O's aren't as much of a circle as they are an oval, just because a circle would be a really wide letter. So you're trying to make it a little bit more narrow. Where before our lowercase o looked more like a circle. So there is slightly a difference between uppercase and lowercase. And some people do write a whole circle for an O when they print, and that's their style. Just like we've been doing with our uppercase, you're going to practice tracing 5 with me. Do your best. The top, curve it down. So remember, when you come to that dashed line, that's when you start curving back, just like we've been doing. And you practice this on your letter D. So it's like that second stroke of your letter D put together. Okay, now try one on your own. You want to give yourself some space here, just in case they touch. Alright, when you come down to the bottom, touch the baseline and come back up to the top line. You can continue on to this end if you'd like, so you just need to pause the video because I'm going to start on P. P is for prints. That's our P. Alright, so as I said before, you've already practiced this with your letter B. So we have our straight vertical line down, and the second is the curve. So it starts at the top line. You get to the middle, you start curving back to the dashed line. And that's it. So it's like a B. That's a half of a B, I guess. P, straight line down. Bring it over to the side. When you get to the middle, curve it back. Good. And as you can see from mine, my P's look all a little bit different, and that's because we're writing with our hand. Some people can get so good at their P's, they all look the same. And I always think that doesn't look as much as handwriting as it looks like a printer, but that's just my opinion. All right, good. Trying to keep on that dash line the best you can. After you try 5 with me, you're going to try one on your own. Down we go. Curve, when you get to the middle, curve it back and down that dash line. Nice. So you're going to continue your P's on now. If you pause the video, otherwise you can finish when I'm done with the video. All right, so Q. Q is just like our O we just did here. And the second stroke is just to do a little diagonal. So Q's are fun. So just like the O, I'm going to do more of a oval than a circle, very curved. And that second one, bring that down to the baseline. So Q. Okay. Bring that straight diagonal down. Okay, Q, straight down. Hope you're enjoying the uppercase letters. They're more straight lines than I guess the lowercase. The lowercase have more curves. All right, 2 left. And remember, tracing creates muscle memory. And your hand gets used to doing that same rhythm, so then when you do it on your own, you'll know what to do. Okay, so create from the top, create one on your own, all the way to the bottom line, and do the same all the way back to the top. So you can tell that I definitely slowed down. So when you're creating it on your own, hopefully you can slow down. You're going a little bit above the middle, and then you're making that diagonal down to the bottom baseline. Okay, so you can continue your cues all the way to the end. If you pause the video, otherwise you can do it when we're done with the lesson. R, that's our R today. Okay, so 3 strokes for your R. So basically we already did the R, the first 2 with the P, and then you're just doing your diagonal down. So P and R, it could be siblings, I guess, or cousins. Okay, just like we did doing your curve, when you get to the middle, curve back. And then the last one is just the diagonal down to the bottom baseline. Okay, you're going to practice 5. Curve it around, coming back. Don't lift your pen, and you're going to do a straight diagonal to the bottom. Now, if you do it correctly, these usually line up. Sometimes I see some R's get a little wider, and that's okay. Vertical line. Everybody has their style of handwriting. You are already getting your style. Right now you're practicing my style, which is the formal print style, but you will add some character to yours. Alright, just like the P, curve it back, but we have one more to go. Straight diagonal down. 2 left. And make sure you're not clenching your hand. At this point, your hand might be getting a little tired. You've been doing a lot of writing. Make sure you're not clenching. Don't clench. Remember, if you're clenching, you're going to see a lot of white. Keep it nice and light. If you guys recall the old penman schools before we had typewriters, the teacher would come around and take their pen out. And if they're clenching it, they're like, you can't have it. They'd get in trouble. The reason being is that was their job. So they had to write for 8 hours a day or more. So you couldn't write and have your hand clench all day because your hand would be so sore and tired every day. So they're trying to teach them how to write lightly, as we call it. All right, try one on your own. See how you do. And each of my R's are all different, so it's hard to write them all the same. So don't think you have to write them all the same. Just do your best. Okay, how are we doing? We got 3 left. Now we've already talked about this S. Basically the S is just like a lowercase s. You're just making it bigger. Just like we did for S, kind of when we get to the middle is when we want to start curving back. So we start a little bit down from the top. We're going to hit that top line, curve. So basically it's a curve the whole time. Curve, curve, hit the bottom and curve back up. Alright, so trace mine, that curve, muscle memory down. I think this is the only letter, if I can recall, that has no straight. I mean, it does, it's a little bit of straight in the middle, but then it starts curving back. So I would say it's not a straight letter. Very curvy. S. All right. Try the different S's. Do your best to trace. Okay. Now it's a challenge to try one on your own. See how you do. Give yourself some space. So you gotta remember you have some space here. So this is one of those letters that you have to get used to writing with the space. Touch the bottom, curve back up. Yes, we made it. So definitely slow down when you start writing on your own. Okay, so continue on and pause the video. Otherwise, we got 2 left. T, 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 T. Okay, so T is pretty easy. Do the top first, and then you're going to go to the center and do your vertical down. So T, top, go to the center, the middle, and vertical down. Easiest letter of the day. 2 straight lines. Just like L yesterday, or I guess in the last lesson. Hope you're doing these lessons each day. If you're doing 2 a day, your hand might get kind of tired, so it's up to you. Take your time. Okay, so T, we got 5 traced. So remember the top, do the top crossbar, horizontal, go to the center, and straight down. Okay, you're going to continue on to the end. If you're going to pause it, otherwise let's stop. We've got 1 left. So U. Okay, so U is probably the second challenging for today. We had S and now U. So basically it's 1 long stroke. So you're going to go straight. When you get to the middle of the second part, curve it down, touch the bottom, and then curve it back when you get to the middle. So very symmetrical. What you want to do is you want to have each side look the same. It's almost like a J. Opposite J and then a regular J, I guess. That same curve as a J. So come down straight. As you get to the middle, curve it down. The bottom baseline, curve it back, and straight to the top. Alright, so you can tell it's a challenging letter. Curve it down, touch the bottom, curve it back, straight all the way to the top. Curve straight down, to the bottom, curve it back. Alright, straight down, to the bottom, and back to the top. You might need to move your hand if your paper starts slipping. It's always a challenge to write at the bottom of the paper. Okay, last one on your own for today. Straight, okay, straight down from the top. When you get to the middle, start curving down. Hit the bottom, baseline, curve. When you get to the middle, start straight back up. Definitely slow down when you try them on your own. Alright, so you're going to continue your U's on. So let's just go over what you're going to continue to do. You're continuing to do your O's, P's, Q's, R's, T's, and U's. If you feel like you need more practice, you can always print off another sheet and start them over again. And if there's any other letter that you need more, you can always grab a piece of paper And it's nice that once you do go over your letters, you can use your piece of paper. Actually, you could trace over them too on your piece of paper if it's light enough. Say, oh, you know what? I'm going to trace some more on Miss Neubauer's. You could use some paper to do that. Or you can just try some on your own without tracing it. Lots of practice. Try a P on your own. It's a little bit smaller than the large, but that's okay. Either way, print them off, use some paper. All right, so I hope you feel like we accomplished our goal of number 13, writing our uppercase letters O through U. I feel like you're doing a great job, and just continue to practice, and progress over perfection.